Welcome to Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi, a podcast that showcases people you may not know who are choosing to use their gifts to inspire and move the planet.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi, and my guest, Lilli Washington. She is the most amazing being, and I'm so excited that she has decided to join us here. So she's going to tell you a little bit about her, and we're going to go with it.
Well, hello, Tammi. Thanks for having me. Well, I am Lilli Washington. I am from Washington, D.C., born and raised, but currently live in Brooklyn, New York. You know, I always wanted to say that. I always just wanted to yell out random Brooklyn. So I do it. Like I was in Miami this weekend and my best friend was like, why are you just randomly yelling out Brooklyn? Because I always wanted to do that. Okay. So I get to do that. My zip code says Brooklyn. I get to yell Brooklyn at any given time. Yes. I may do it on this. I may yell out a few Brooklyns tonight.
And that is okay.
All right. So yeah, I am a non-binary. Some may consider trans. And I'll go into that, model / actor / producer, who started off as a makeup artist, and I ended up transitioning into in front of the camera early 2020. I was bamboozled, not the first time that's happened in life. And I, ended up in front of the camera, and my first modeling job was Vogue, which was crazy, which we'll go into that because that was a very interesting story how that happened.
Yes, because Vogue wouldn't normally be a first modeling job, right?
No, there was not. It's a lot of weird things. I have a really interesting story. It's just crazy. Like even I look back and I just laugh. I'm like, how in the world did that happen?
Yes.
I also produced 2 short films last year. One of them was about my life. And I took you through my journey of self to where I'm at today with self-acceptance, self-love. But, I had to go through a lot of things to get there. And, drug addiction was one of those things. Prison was one of those things. Homelessness was one of those things. And I felt it very important to tell that story because I always tell people that the story is in the journey, not the destination, because the destination doesn't exist, right? So we're still in the story right now, right? I haven't arrived anywhere. We're still in the story. And so it's important to tell those things because a lot of times people will see where you're at today.
Yes.
And they'll just think that you just, came out your mom's womb, fabulous. And,
No, it's just a wish. Bing.
Don't work like that. So yeah, I took them through the journey. So yeah, and that was an interesting thing because it ended up taking off. Like it created a life of its own, and now people want a full-length version of it. And I co-produced that with my production partner, Mr. David Hand, and we did it. Just him and I, we did everything, the everything that you see in the movie we did.
And what was the name of the movie?
The Love Throughout, and it's on YouTube. Okay. So it's about 7 minutes long. And we have a prequel to that, which is called The Greatness After. And that is about another trans model, Miss Alex. So and I'm in that as well. I co-star in that and co-produce that as well. Okay. So they both kind of come together and make a complete story. So yeah, and I'm an open book, right? I mean, I just feel like there's no reason not to share my story with people because I went through these things. I believe that I went through these things and survived these things for other people. As well as myself. Yes. I remember like very clearly and being at my lowest. And when I say low, I mean low. Like I don't know if I'm gonna survive this, and I couldn't get out of my drug addiction and all of that stuff. And I really didn't think I was gonna survive. I really didn't. I all but given up at that moment. And I remember thinking, like, if I survive this, it's because you want me to help other people. So I'm not going to keep it a secret.
Yes.
I'm not, and I've kept my word. I've kept my word. I've never tried to hide behind anything. I'm transparent, and it is what it is. It is what it is. And the other thing is, when you tell your own story, can't nobody tell it for you, boo.
Okay, so I so agree with you there, because I did the same thing. I shared my story and it was so healing. And I got so many people that, sent me messages and said that, I appreciate you for sharing, for writing, and, all of this. And for me, it was just my story, and I knew that because God had shared that with me too, said, this is not for you, because I asked God, I said, why did I have to go through all this hell? Why? And at such young ages.
Such young ages, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And God said, it's not all for you. So I was like, okay. So yeah, so I get that. So when you shared your story, was it like a relief for you? Did you feel like the healing in sharing it, because people are going to be able to relate to it and,
Yes, it was a deeper level of healing, because
yes.
Up to that point, I've been telling my story for years. I've been doing motivational speaking. I still do that. So it wasn't like it was a secret. The thing was, there's a difference from verbally telling your story and then putting the visuals behind it. That's number one. Yes. The other thing is, there's a difference between telling your story and reliving it, because I played myself in the film. I actually transitioned backwards in the film.
Okay.
So I went back to who I was prior to who you see today.
Gotcha.
So much to the point where I sent my family pictures from when I was on set, and they thought I had dug up old pictures. They was like, oh, where did you get that picture from? I'm like, this is today. Like, they just, it was insane. So going back and reliving it, it was a deeper level of healing.
Yes.
And there were some things that happened that I totally didn't expect to happen. Because like I said, I just thought I was doing this to help other people. Like, I was just like, okay, yeah, we good in this area and this area. So I'm here to save the people. And I didn't realize that, I was going to receive a deeper level of healing, but with myself and my family. Mm-hmm. That was the last thing on my mind. Mm. And, yes, there were a lot of families across the world. Like, I've been getting messages from all over the world.
Sure.
But then when it hit home, it was like my family being healed mm-hmm. from it. That was not a part of the plan. I had already accepted my dynamics with people in my family. My family's a great family. That's why we named it The Love Throughout. Let me be clear about that. Mm-hmm. We named it The Love Throughout because through all the contradictions and confusions and the things that I went through and the mistakes that my parents made and all of that stuff, the one thing, it may be confusing to some people, but I never questioned that I was loved.
Yes.
Never.
And that's important.
It's very important. I never felt like I wasn't loved. Mm-hmm. It's weird if you watch the film, and I wanted to make sure I got that point across, that I didn't come off as a victim, that I didn't come off as angry, hurt, resentful, or anything like that. Right. Because I understand. I understand. And I'd already understood by the time we made the film that this is who they are. They deal with things the best way they know how with the information that they have, right?
Right.
But after the film, they had some new information. And so they did even better because they had some new information. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Like, I wasn't expecting that because I didn't know, because they didn't have to receive the new information.
Right.
They don't have to. They don't have to. They're not obligated to.
Right.
They chose to. And that's because of love. So it just continued to perpetuate what the film was really about, the love throughout. The love is still continuing,
See, and God already had that set up for you.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is like the big part. and I'm not coming from a God standpoint.
Yeah, me too. Because listen, I love God, I cuss, I love Little Kim and Kim Burrell. Yes. So let's be clear about that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I agree with all that.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually, yeah. Because people, I truly believe that religion puts God in a box. And I believe that God is so big and so huge. And he's such a loving God and not, like people try to make him out to be. So I believe that he set all that up for you. It's like, he said, let me help my child.
He been set me up, and he's always set me up for success.
Yes.
And one of the things I always say is that I would have never wrote the script this way. But if I wrote the script, I would have been cheating myself.
See, and that's good. That's a good point. Because sometimes we can't always see, especially if we're in the middle of it and it's us. So, I agree with that. I think that's awesome. So share, what are we talking about? Share how you got to this journey, because I want people to hear that piece.
I got to the journey being open and honest and willing with myself and the universe. And really it came through it came through both love and it came through pain. That's the best way I can put it. I grew up a lot of my life just very insecure and desperately wanting to fit in and knowing that I was different. And so I tried any and everything to be everything but me. Okay. Yes. I felt like if you all was comfortable, I was going to be comfortable. Okay. Turns out that don't work. Okay.
No,
it don't work. It literally almost killed me. Literally almost killed me. And so after just getting sick of my own shit and just saying, I just got sick of the consequences of what I was doing, through the prisons and the drug addiction and all of that other stuff. I was sick of it. And so I was like, I don't like the results that I'm getting. I need to do something different. So the first thing I had to realize is that I didn't know who I was. And here I am asking people to accept me, and I hadn't accepted me. How backwards is that?
Wow. That is so common.
It's so common. And I didn't understand how common it was. And I didn't understand that I fell into that category. So the first thing is that I had to be honest with myself that I didn't know who I was, right? Then I had to become open to something different. And then I had to become willing to go through whatever it was. And so I knew that what I was doing, I didn't like the results. I didn't like what was coming with it. So I needed to shift my energy. And so that's when I started to go through this process of self-discovery. And it's been the most beautiful thing. I've been actively in that process for 13 years. And it's been the most beautiful process ever, right? Because what it's done, it's brought me back to that child again, that free child. Because I love children, I love animals, and I love elders, okay? The rest of y'all on your own, okay? All right, I'm just letting you know. Don't expect too much sympathy from me, right? So, and it just brought me back to that childlike state where I knew anything was possible, that I knew that God was not limited. And that's why I named my company YBLimited, because I knew that God wasn't limited. I knew that I wasn't limited. I knew my possibilities weren't limited. Only if I choose to continue to limit them, because I had them.
Oh, I love that.
Right? Because they all fell back on me. Because when I started to do the process, I started to realize a lot of stuff fell back on me, that I was the problem and the solution.
Yes. Oh,
I couldn't be the victim anymore. I was like, oh Lord, okay, all right, now we got to, okay, all right. Wasn't ready for that. I just thought we was gonna figure out what y'all all was doing wrong, and we was gonna fix you. But no, that's not how it came about. Okay, so then I was like, okay, Cool, I'll take that. So, I realized the problem and the solution was all in me. So I started to do a lot of work on myself and taking accountability. And wow, it was the most beautiful thing. And I realized that I was none of those things that I was presenting the world, presenting to myself. I was none of those things. Child, I had full facial hair and I had long dreadlocks and baggy clothes, and I used to wear Timberland boots and hoodies, and and child looked ridiculous mess. Okay, let's just put it that way. The long story short, okay, I look like
wasn't you?
I look like I was wearing boy drag, okay, because I've always been a feminine energy, right? Mm-hmm. I've always been a feminine energy in a male form, and that brings me to why I said some may consider me trans because of my look. I don't consider me any of those things. I consider me the spirit inside of the body. Like, I don't put limits on who I am. I'm the spirit inside the body. I'm not, I mean, yes, I know that those labels are for other people, but labels are for bottles, okay?
Yes.
They're not for humans. But I get it. Other people need to put labels on us so that they can feel comfortable. Because when someone asks me what my pronouns are, I tell them, address whatever energy addresses you. So if the masculine energy addresses you, address that. If it's the feminine energy, address that. I don't care. Like, I am a feminine energy in a male form. I am okay with everything that comes with me. There's nothing that I want to change. There's not a mistake that I feel like was made with me. I'm not saying that anybody else doesn't feel that way. I'm not saying that has nothing to do with me is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is with me, with LiLi. The only thing I wanted to change was my name. That was the only thing I wanted to change was my name, because that was the one thing I just didn't identify with. Gotcha. But as far as my physical, I've never been on hormones. The titties is real. God gave them to me, right? Right. At 15 years old, I started to go through puberty, and that was a part of it. I had more estrogen than most men. So take it up with God, And so, I have a feminine body, even though I'm a male, and, I have feminine energy, even though I'm a male. I have male body parts, even though I have feminine energy. Oh, that shit's dope, right? Like, that's dope. Like, that's
what I gotta say is you are beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'm just me.
I mean, inside and out. I'm just, anyway, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just it's awesome to be able to just accept everything that comes with you.
Yes.
I don't feel like I have to apologize, explain, none of that stuff. It just is.
So, do you do any type of counseling or mentoring to other people, or?
I do.
I can see you doing that.
I do. I've been doing a lot of that for years. I'm very guarded when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. It's so personal to me, because I post a lot when it comes to what I do professionally and things like that. It's rare that I post things like that. I do a lot of volunteer work. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of, like you said, mentoring. I do a lot of volunteering with an organization here in New York called GMHC. And I deal with trans youth. A lot of them are HIV positive. A lot of them have been in sex work. And they're looked at as the misfits or the outcasts of society, my favorite part of society, honey. Mm-hmm. So, I do have event that I'm doing with GMHC that is coming up. So I will be posting that publicly because I've been given the permission and they've asked me to do it. Okay. But typically, I just do it from the bottom of my heart. Yes. It means a lot to me. It's something that I feel charged to do after surviving the things that I've survived.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It is, Yeah. Everything doesn't need to be publicized.
No, everything doesn't. And the things that we are being charged to do, especially as we grow and as we, move into the place that God is calling us to be and all this stuff. Yeah, it's like when I talk to you, I feel like I see such a light. You know, there's just such a light.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm just super excited just to see how you have transformed that journey. Because just listening to you, I can feel, you know, where you came from and how you did, you know, and it's so amazing to me because when I speak to people and I see, you know, because I wasn't there to see all that other stuff, but just hearing you talk about it and describe it and just, you know, seeing how you've just gone from this place where you felt like you were at the depths of despair and now you're here, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
just like that, you know, is people see you now and they're like, oh, you know, she's this or he's that or, you know, and all that, but they don't remember and they don't know where you came
No.
from, you know, and you sharing that story is powerful.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm robbing people when I don't.
Right.
Right? Because they think that you just automatically arrive somewhere.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
What and what I and the other reason why I do it is because it helps both them and myself
Yes.
to take away plausible excuses not to be successful, not to be free, not to be whole. Because we all have some plausible excuses that we got a list. All of us got a list. We can go to that list at any given moment and say, you know what? I'm not going to be successful because I'm Black. I'm not going to be successful because I'm trans. I'm not going to be successful because I'm poor. Whatever it is, we can go to it at any given moment.
Yes.
I just stopped going to that list.
Yes.
I just left it alone. I put all those excuses back up on the shelf and I pulled down the I cans, right? I can do this. Anything is possible. Why be limited? I can manifest, all of this, but I chose to pull down.
Yes.
It's a choice. It's a daily choice.
Yes.
Daily choice, because at any given moment, I can make a different choice.
Yes, 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 yes.
Right?
Yes, yes. I'm writing that down.
And the thing is this. After I just decided to change my life, it's not like everything was roses and peaches and cream and all this stuff. Baby, listen, the stuff that I went through in active addiction and all of that stuff, that was deep. But I had drugs to mask those feelings. I didn't feel a lot of those things. And my biggest thing is that I couldn't feel, right?
Yes.
But then I get clean and I'm like, I want to change my life and all of these things, and some other stuff popped up. I was like, well, I'm gonna start a business and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to be a boss. And then, I start the business and I was working a 9-to-5 job, and I just, God was like, okay, it's time for you to leave the job. And I'm like, oh God, you must have something, hey, let me go ahead and put this 2 weeks notice in so I can start taking over the world, And I did that, and 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, well, hold up now, God, you pulling stunts and shows now, girl. Like, hold up now, what's up? Why would you tell me to do that when you knew this was coming? And, I went through it, and then I get through it, and it left me financially just destroyed financially. Yeah. So I ended up losing everything. So I end up cancer-free, but I lose all of my material possessions, right? Mm-hmm. And I ended up homeless with a successful business. And, I was in like, oh God, I think about 15 magazines that year when I was a makeup artist, like my work was published. So I'm in all these magazines and people are telling me how proud they are of me, but they don't know I'm living in a Raggedy motel and I lost everything. It's just so many things that we go through, but I still chose not to go to that list.
Yes, because you could have in that situation, you could have easily gone to that list. Oh, I quit my job and then I got cancer. And, of course, that was my insurance and all these things, right? You could have easily been like, I'm just going to curl up in a ball over here and, just. You could have easily, but you decided, you made a choice.
Oh my God. Got up every morning in that Raggedy motel, roach infested, crack meth infested motel and beat my face and threw on, because I know how to put together a thread or two, baby, and went out there, pounded pavement, and created jobs for myself and the people who worked for me. And things turned around, and I ended up with way more than I lost. And then after that, a couple of years later, God's like, okay, it's time for you to leave Atlanta. Wow. I'm like, hold on now, God, you tripping again. Because see, now, the last time you said this, last time you told me to do something, hold on now, you sure? Because after that, after going through that and losing everything and then rebuilding, and my business was successful in 2019. By 2019, it was successful. I was making good money. I gotten everything back. I was living a comfortable life. I was living in a nice apartment in downtown Atlanta. Things was going on. Like, and then God was like, no, this is not where you belong. You're settling. Yeah, you're doing good. Cute. This is cute, but you're settling. He said,
don't you love how God does that?
He said like that. It's cute. He said just like that. That's how I heard it. And so when I tell you, the voice had never been so clear ever. It was like the most specific instructions. They sounded crazy, Tammi. It was like asking me to leave everything behind and start everything over in a new city with no clients.
Excuse me, been there, done that.
I moved here to New York January 2019 with one suitcase.
Oh my gosh.
I got here at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning in New York City. By 2:30, I had my own place to stay. I never slept on a couch. I never slept on the floor. That's how it started.
So you already know that was God.
I knew it was God. That was how day one started. And baby, when I tell you, it's only gone up from there. I'm just always, I don't know how to, I feel like I'm watching someone else's life sometimes.
Nice.
I really do. And I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way, because for me, for me losing everything, it changed my priorities and it changed my attachment to physical things and material things.
Okay.
I like my shit. I'm not Gandhi.
I was gonna say you could say that for the people in the back.
Yeah. I like my shit now, but my attachment don't look the same.
Yes.
It don't look the same.
I agree.
It really don't. My peace is my number one concern.
Yes.
And I protect that at all costs. And I have peace in my life today.
Yes.
I have peace in my life. I do what I want. I communicate with who I want to be with. I do what I want to do for work. And I get to monetize off of it, and I get to help other people.
Yes.
It don't get any better than that.
Say, what more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? And one of the things that I learned is that I got better long before things got better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, it wasn't like the bank account got cute and then I got happy. No, bitch, I was happy before the bank account got cute. Okay. Don't do it. That's how I, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I felt my peace before I felt the coin.
Yes. Yes. Isn't that amazing how that happens? Because I truly, I'm with you with all of that. It's like, because peace is priceless, I believe.
And I protect it at all costs.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you bring to the table. I don't care. It's my peace first. I will scrap the whole whatever it is. If it's a relationship, if it's a job situation, I have turned down so much money because I felt like something will compromise who I am, my integrity, my peace, whatever. Oh God, that's why I said my attachment to material stuff doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
It's long. Let me tell you something. Another part of that, to move up here, I made a lot of sacrifices, right? Because yes, I was making good money, but I was moving to New York City. I don't know if you checked the stats on how expensive. Okay. So it was kind of, because just to live in Atlanta, Atlanta's prices was rising at that time. And that was another thing that gave me the courage to move. But I had to make some sacrifices because bills still had to be paid in Atlanta, but I still had to come up to New York with a coin.
Yes.
So I went back to what my great grandmother used to always say: don't nobody need to know what you're eating. Don't nobody need to know what you're sleeping on, right? Or anything like that. So I scaled back, So I remember that I could live off some ramen noodles. I did it in prison for 2 years. I knew it would keep me alive, right? So listen, I may be complaining, I may be sick of it, but a bitch won't die. So I knew I can live off of minimalist stuff. I wasn't living in a roach-infested, meth-infested, crack-infested motel. I was living in my own apartment, right? In downtown Atlanta, eating my oodles of noodles, right? So I made those adjustments to move here and to live my dream that I knew I was supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And the payoff has made the sacrifice seem so minute.
You said something there.
I couldn't ask for, I couldn't have asked for a better story, but I wouldn't have written the script the way it's turned out. If I would have wrote the script, I would have been cheating myself. Yeah. Right? Because it wouldn't include pain. It wasn't going to include that. We're going to leave that part out.
Right, because you want to leave that out.
Yeah, we're going to take the easy route.
Yeah, you already did the pain part, Yeah. What is his name? Chris Gardner, The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
I watched the interview that he did, and they asked him, was it easier to live the story or to write it? And I'll never forget this. He said that it was easier to live it because in living it, you didn't think about it and you didn't worry about it. You were just trying to make it. And writing it, you had to relive it in order to tell the story. Mm-hmm. And that has stuck with me all these years because I thought about that thing when I was doing mine. I was like, because some of the stuff I have pushed down so much, and because that's how we have to survive. We push it down and we say, okay, we're not going to think about that. We're not going to deal with that. And so as I was writing it, it came back up. And not only does it come back up, but all the feelings and all the emotions around it come back up, and that was, and so when I think as you share these stories and you tell it, you get like an even deeper healing, like you said, that you even more than what you thought, because, to me, it's almost essentially like you healed through it twice.
Yes. Yes.
And you put it out there so that other people can heal.
Yeah, because I see what it does to people who don't do that.
Yes.
I see what that looks like, right? I see what it looks like when people hold on to things and they live in hurt, anger, fear, resentment.
Yes.
I see what that does to them.
It kills them.
It kills them. And it gives them wrinkles. I don't like wrinkles. And so, so I'm like, girl, like, I don't want no daggone wrinkles. I don't want no more acid reflux than I already got. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I just don't want it. With all that stuff that's coming with what you got, I don't want none of that. Okay.
I feel the same.
Because we learn a lot.
Years old. And
you see what I'm saying? And listen, no wrinkles.
Right. Because I mean, I let it go. I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. But
I just turned 40 on Friday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I don't even usually.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like it's a congratulations, right? Like, yo, we made it, right? So, it hit me hard because I usually don't even celebrate birthdays like that. But this one was just like, whoa.
Well, it's a new thing because something about 40. I can share that with you. Something about 40. And then once you hit that decade and then you hit the next decade, and I haven't got to the next decade, but I've heard that it is a whole nother thing. It's almost like you're now on the tip of the iceberg, and then you just start going up and up and up within yourself, and then
Yes.
you have that place where you think you don't give a fuck what people. Once you get there and you start
That's
getting
what I'm trying to get to.
decades, you don't give a fuck.
That's what I want to get to. I want to cuss motherfuckers out just for no reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, that don't make no sense.
It's fun.
Okay, that's my goal. That's one of my number. This all written down right there.
Well,
I'm just like, yeah, it's almost because I am that person. It's almost there. I have one part of me that's just like, I'm gonna just let them be who they are. But then I got the other part of me that's like, okay, girl.
I think like this. Sometimes it's like shut them down.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta shut them down because it's just like, okay, so you just not gonna stop unless I say something. Okay.
And now it's done.
And now it's done. And let me tell you, I could teach a class on moving on. Because listen, once I let your ass have it, I ain't thinking about it again. I'm not thinking twice about it.
Done.
And that's the whole reason why you got cussed out, because I wanted to get it off me. Right. Now, if you walking around with the feelings and upset and puffing and huffing and all that stuff,
that's on you.
That's totally on you. But baby, when I tell you, once I release it,
yes,
I'd be like, so hey, you want to go to the movies on Saturday? Like, I'm done. I'm over. Yeah.
But that's a healthy way to live. It's healthy.
Yeah, I'm not holding on to stuff.
Right, and you're not harboring resentment and all that other kind of shit, because those emotions are so useless. They're just useless.
They are. They are, and it's like, I'm not like, I don't want to hold on to any resentment. I don't want to not, or at the other end of the spectrum, which is not deal with it.
Right. Exactly.
No, I'm going to deal with it. Okay. And I'm gonna say what I got to say, do what I got to do.
Yes.
And I am on to the next thing. That moment has passed.
Yes.
I just have nothing else for it. And that right there, that freedom that comes from that, like, I used to be, because I used to be that person who was loyal to a fault. That's some crazy shit. But yeah. I was loyal to a fault, and not today. No. I come first. My peace come first. Yes. I can still love your ass, but you can be over there.
Yes.
Over there.
I agree.
Yep. I still think, I've got people who I have excommunicated, and I still love them. I still think highly of them.
Yep.
I still think all of these things. I just want their ass over there.
Yeah, just not in my energy.
That's all. Because you come with some other stuff that I don't need. Because, two things can exist in the same space.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So you can be all these things, but you can be those things too. I don't want those things. I'm keep it over there.
And I'm good with it, right?
I'm so good with it. So good.
So I have enjoyed this so much. I wish I could talk to you for 2 more hours.
Likewise.
I have enjoyed it so much. It's been amazing. Your story is just, I don't know, it's so inspiring is with the word I want to say. But what I want you to do now is just let the people know how they can connect with you, and and then we'll roll on.
All right. Well, I am on I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Everything is under YBLimited. Okay. It's the letter Y, the letter B as in boy, the word limited, YBLimited. Because YBLimited, right?
Yes.
And you can also check out the short film, The Love Throughout, and that's on YouTube. And you should be able to just pull it up by putting in The Love Throughout. Okay. And then it was filmed under the production company 3BR Studios, like 3 bedrooms. Okay. So 3BR Studios, it's under that production company on YouTube. So if you're unable to just pull it up through the title, which you should be, you can just go to 3BR Studio. And and I got some exciting stuff coming up. Ooh, I wish you would have interviewed enough because I got some stuff coming up. I got I can't say nothing until but I'm excited. Like a new milestone that has just been confirmed. And let me tell you, the power of manifestation. That's all I got to say.
I'm so excited for you. What I'll do is I'll also link the video in the description of the video on YouTube. That way you want to find it there and everything. And I'll try to put all your, I think you put it in your bio as well.
Yes.
Okay. So I usually put all your, where you can find you and connection, all that in there as well. That way people, once they watch it, if they want to connect with you, they can go right in the description and, do that.
But I appreciate that.
Oh, no worries. It's my pleasure. I have enjoyed this so much. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I have 50 other questions I wanted to ask you, but we ran out of time.
Well, guess what? I have a podcast coming out called Lilli's Closet. We go straight into my closet here, and I'll bring you on, and we could just chat. We just gonna chat and just kiki.
Awesome. I'm definitely ready for that. Just let me know when you're ready.
I will for sure.
All right. So thank y'all for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah, talking with Tammi, with my guest, Lilli Washington. This has been an amazing, amazing podcast. I say that with every podcast, but I really do mean it. But make sure that you follow her at the places that she has mentioned, and it'll also be in the description of the video, whether it's the podcast or the video. So definitely connect with her if you feel ready. So have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, whenever you catch this. And thank you so much for joining us right here on Straight Out of Savannah, talking with Tammi. Bye now. All right.
I know you've been blown away with the amazing value here today. Now go out and inspire the planet. And be sure to send us a message when you're ready to come talk about it on Straight Out of Savannah, talking with Tammi.